Hello everyone, this is Fi. We're checking out Boom Shocketa. This is a game I have played before. I'm actually quite familiar with it at this point. Uh, but I haven't played this particular build, so the developer's been working on a number of things, and we're going to give it a shot, see if we can give some feedback. I'm not going to read through the game page. This is a game about flying in 3 dimensions, basically, or racing in 3 dimensions, I should say. But I will check on the Discord page here. He did list sort of a change list of sorts of a bunch of things new in this version, so I'm going to briefly kind of skim over that. He mentions ranks, medal times of progression, new stuff there, volumetric clouds, heavenly bodies, day-night cycle, and random humidity and clouds. So all sorts of, I believe these are aesthetic only changes, but that'll be interesting to see. And hopefully the performance is just as good. Basic controls, more traction, turning power and control. Power sliding has been tuned. Respawn button added. That's nice. Left trigger is default for braking, and brake will lead to reverse if held. New free play mode with its own respawning method, which is cool. Random variation to marble. This is a visual change, apparently. Improved collisions. Crash propensity is much more predictable with the addition of shield. Angular forces after collision are more reasonable, less janky. Right, so I'm not going to read everything here, but these sound like necessary changes. I'll try to take a look at that and see if I have any opinions or whatever about that. Play menu has been changed. Settings. Got changes to the settings screens. Main known issues. Shield bar overlaps with next ring arrow. Free play respawn can possibly respawn you below the landscape in certain circumstances. Defaulting out game settings will unsync the settings pane with the selector bar temporarily. Mouse is over eagerly set to different positions when traveling between levels or back to main menu. Right. Coming soon. It's got different things. Sound and feedback improvements, camera improvements, yada yada yada. So yeah, I haven't played this version, of course, so we're going to get into this and drop the overlay. I will note that I opened this very briefly. As I go back into the game here, we get the audio back in, but the music is still very loud. I've got my own, like, the volume level on Windows down quite low, and hopefully I turned it down enough in the capture so it's not like annoying to watch this video. But that'll be something. I mean, it's really easy to change, but you know, just set whatever the default master volume is a bit lower. I think that'll be a good idea. But so it says here, because of major changes to the way that control input and key bindings work, your controls were reset to default settings. Please replay the beginner tutorial or check settings controls to reconfirm your settings. Alright, so we might actually have to... I think he actually changed that little soundbite there, which is interesting. I think we're gonna probably go through the tutorial again, I guess. I've got the Xbox controller here. Welcome to the beginner tutorial. Start by learning idle rotation on each axis. Each axis will show you the input, let you play for a few seconds, then ask if you want to invert. Look at your surroundings. Hold the input to fill up the progress bar at the bottom of the screen. First is yaw, turning left and right. Alright, so left stick. A little bit of choppiness there, but I think it's... I don't know, this doesn't look like a very smooth frame rate at the moment. I'm not sure... No, it's good. I'm not sure if there's... It'd be nice to have an FPS counter just for the sake of, you know, clarity in that, especially for playtesting and such. Next, pitch turning up and down. So up and down. Seems good. Oh, the bar is still not filled. Okay. So you have to do that for a little while. Maybe you don't have to do that for that long, but it's a really small detail. That's good. Roll, which is on. So this is giving me the keyboard controls. Of course, I'm using the thumbstick, the gamepad and the thumbsticks here. But I haven't played this in a while, so the skill element is not going to be as much there. I mean, I was never that good at it, but you know, the experience or whatever has faded since then. That's good enough. Why am I facing this way? Oh, that's why. Hold the justify button long enough to even out rotation. Now, is that still on the D-pad? Because this says E. Oh, right, R3, which is, okay, this one, R3. All right, I'm not used to using the buttons under the thumbstick here, but that seems like a reasonable choice for that, and I think it's better than it was before. Yeah, so it apparently, it shows like the keyboard control on screen, and then like as soon as I touch something on the gamepad, it kind of automatically switches over, which is kind of janky, but you know, you can tell there's at least a little bit of thought put into that. Maybe, I think probably what you want is to have sort of a just like a boolean or whatever that remembers what the last control input was and doesn't like reset every time. So instead of it like always defaulting to the keyboard for some reason, I think you want it to like continue to assume you're using the gamepad until you like touch the mouse again or whatever, something like that. Racing happens on a sequence of rings. Arrow on the bottom left will point you to the next ring. If you miss a ring, you'll need to go back and get it, but you can pass through a ring in any direction. The next ring will always be flashing. Note that turning happens exactly the same way when you're throttling. What does that mean? I have no idea what that last statement was, but I mean, I understand the controls are the same. I don't know what, oh, I'm not used to the physics right now. Also not sure like how much has been changed of the physics since I played last and that kind of thing, like how slidey it is compared to last time, that kind of thing. So, you really have to finesse. That's one thing that's kind of hard. I know that like the developer apparently prefers the mouse controls because you can kind of have a lot of fine control with the mouse. It's a little bit harder to do with the thumbstick. I like using the thumbsticks, but you do have to like really use like a really light touch on the sticks, which can be pretty hard to do. Something you have to kind of get used to. Actually, I kind of wish I had like a I literally haven't used like a full-size flight stick style joystick since I was a kid, but I think that would be nice to use for this game. One of those HOTAS type things, that would be pretty cool. You can boost with A or right bumper. Oh, okay, so yeah, right bumper would be. I kind of like how you added the A button in there. That's kind of comfy to do, I guess. Because you can just kind of leave your finger down on the right trigger. I don't have to. Some people hold the controller a little bit differently, but I use my index finger and like switch it between the bumper or the trigger on the Xbox controller. So it's kind of nice to just be able to hold down the right trigger all the time and then just press A when you want to. That seems nice. Use your boost sparingly until you learn to master it. You can strafe to lift off the ground for slight adjustments while approaching rings. Strafe to lift off the ground or for slight adjustments while... It's strange how you would associate strafing with lifting off the ground. Like I can understand if you're rotated like 90 degrees sideways or something, maybe that's the idea. Hold space with your main or left bumper. Okay, I didn't. Oh, okay. The text just got smaller. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't have time to read that all. With your main pitch yaw input to strafe. So left bumper. All right. Have to get used to reaching up for that. It's not the L button or L trigger. That does. I guess that means you can't strafe and brake simultaneously unless you have the other way of holding the controller that I mentioned. Some people put like their middle finger on the triggers, which I don't do. Reverse if you're stuck behind something. So the strafing, I actually feel like I didn't have enough time to get the feel of the strafing in the tutorial here. I think what you should do is maybe set up something that you have to kind of like a little tiny little course, obstacle course we'll call it. It's just something very simple that you have to kind of complete while using the strafing or something. I think that might help the player to get the feel of that, but that's alright, I can mess with that later. So hold S to reverse, which it says hold Y, which is interesting. So we have Y on reverse, but I'm also just using the left trigger. Okay, so I think there's something a little funny with the way the braking goes into the reverse. So it seems like yeah, that's very weird. Okay, so apparently with the left trigger, it's programmed in such a way that is it the same for Y? No, Y is different, right? Yeah. So the braking into reverse is programmed in such a way that it doesn't start reversing until it actually hits 0 miles per hour, which takes like a very long time. So it's not very usable. I think you should just make the left trigger and the Y button do the same thing. Wow. I really blew up like that. That was very unexpected. Wait, what's going on? Is there like a kill? There must be some collider here that's set to kill you or something. I don't know what's what's going on. Not sure what that's all about, but yeah. So right, so I see no reason why you would want to have the brake work any differently than it does with the Y button right now. I'm assuming that the rate of braking is not identical. Also, yeah, there's still this sort of buggy almost, but if you like turn while holding Y, it like stops you almost instantaneously. Which, I mean, it's not necessarily a problem. I don't know if it is a problem or not. It's one of those things where sometimes the, bugs in movement code can actually kind of turn into features, but yeah, I don't know, but it's definitely there, and it's a little weird. I guess it might be the same with the brake itself. Yeah, I think so. But in any case, yeah, so I would just, make the behavior the same between them. Now let's move on. We get the lights on and off. This actually isn't... Oh, okay, well, it eventually actually progressed there. So I guess maybe the meter in the bottom left is the shields that I've heard about. So we got to press up to tilt the camera, so we got first person. I don't know if I've actually used this one very much. You can autonomously respawn if you are in an awkward spot. Autonomously, I don't think that's the word you want to use. It's a small detail, but that suggests that it doesn't require player input, I think. Press 1 to respawn, or is that the back? Wait, let me actually look at the controller here. Yeah, that's maybe the, like, Xbox One or something. Yeah, I think it's the back button on the 360 controller here. That's what it looks like. So there's only 2 camera views, you see. Just the strafe button. Interesting. So maybe in the future it might be nice to make that a little, like, visually juicier or something. But you can free play from here or choose a different level from the pause menu. You can change chariots in the pause menu or main menu. Alright, so let me check real quick something. Set escape, let's check the settings. Sensitivity exponent is set to whatever this number is. Values less than 1 are less sensitive, more precision on smaller turns. Values greater than 1 are more sensitive, greater access to mid-range and large turns. When set to 1, input is linear. An exponent applied to inputs from the mouse you can visualize with a graphic calculator. Didn't you mention something about stuff being visualized in the settings menu? Oh. Okay, so I think we... right, this is editing keyboard and mouse settings, and then we have to click on this to switch to controller settings. Yeah, that's one of these things. I guess I guess you put a little more effort into making that clear, but I actually almost didn't notice that, so that's a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. There might be some way to make that better, but I don't have any suggestions at the moment. But I did notice the tooltip here is maybe not quite correct. I think you should say controller settings in the tooltip. Seems to only say mouse and keyboard settings. Alright, so here we are again. Look at these little, I think the little circles here are drawing over the UI and stuff. That might have been mentioned in, I don't remember if that was one of the things that was mentioned in the known issues. Roll scale. So can I roll faster if I crank this up? I wonder where these numbers came from. Are these the actual defaults? Supposedly everything was set to default. Break, then reverse. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone would want to switch this off. Like I said before, I do think you should change the behavior a bit, but like I guess maybe somebody might want a way to just completely to know that they can perfectly zero out their speed or whatever. But I don't know if someone would actually do that or not, but I guess that doesn't, it's not important. It's not hurting anything. So we got controller input bindings is here, defaults is here. So this, yeah, this description is, like I have to think about it a little bit. I don't know if you change this from the way it was before or not. Like if you flipped it around or whatever, I don't remember exactly. But the description is not intuitive here, but that can just kind of be the nature. I do think visualizing it here would be a lot better, which I think the developer probably knows that. I'm actually going to go back to the main menu for now.
Shocketa, Rocket Storm.
So I'm actually going to Alt-Tab here real quick. I want to look at that. What was mentioned on the Discord page here. It said something about the settings, something being visualized here. Oh, well, it says picture shows what control mode you're editing. I don't know, maybe I skimmed this too fast and yeah, maybe that's what it was. Anyways, back into the game here. So yeah, I think, you know, future it'd be nice to have a visual of this. It would just make it so obvious if it just showed a curve. It'd be really comfy. Greater than one or more sensitive. So I think what I probably would want would be less sensitive a little bit, so I could do finer, more precision on smaller turns. I guess we have to hit save here. Let's go to, I guess we want to click on play. We got free play. Okay, Watch Ghost is kind of over here in its own thing now, which is really appreciated. Because that was one thing I thought was annoying, to always have to like, there's like a weird tick box that was, there's some different settings that were kind of annoying to set every time, but this seems a lot comfier the way that this is set up. This is a really tiny thing, but just because it occurs to me, one thing that's nice for just UI design in general is you can kind of prioritize things visually. When it comes to text, you can kind of prioritize things visually by like the size of the text. So using different font sizes or whatever in different places can help to visually organize things. So right now, like all the text is the same size. And for instance, there's like whatever this, you know, we got hints or whatever that are popping up down here. I would suggest, you know, making these smaller than like the interactable text here and that kind of thing. It just helps the brain to not, it helps the brain to to not give everything the same amount of attention, basically. when you're just looking at a screen. That's kind of, in general, that's one of the things that kind of goes into UI design and such that can help a lot. It's the same with like stuff like contrast, like things that are less important. You want to kind of be lower contrast to fade into the background and stuff like that. That's not an issue here, of course, but you know, it's just one of those things. But we got Grand Canyon, Snowy Mountains, Araruth. I don't know if that's how that's pronounced, but let's just go back to Moon for now. I guess we double click. Oh, we just pop in here. I've got the mouse going. I don't know if there was before some kind of a bug with the mouse. I think it just stole the input from the gamepad or something, but it doesn't seem to be happening right now. So I think the developer might have added a bit more traction to the movement in general, which first impression feels pretty good. That was something I kind of asked for a lot, I guess. Just kept saying like, yeah, I'd like more and more traction. Just felt like it would be nicer, but yeah, I don't know, it feels pretty decent at the moment. What was I gonna try out in here? So we fiddled with the reverse. Yeah, it definitely seems to be dropping a few frames here. Now, there was something I wanted to check in the setting, like the video settings that I forgot to. So we got full screen mode, windowed full screen is here. Set that. This is, I don't know if this is at like 30 FPS now because it's got VSync on. Where is the stuff here? Full screen, we want VSync to be off. Let's see if I can. It still seems to be chugging. Yeah, I see the screen tearing, so it's definitely off. Yeah, not really hitting the target here. I'm actually, just in case. I mean, I am also the game's stealing my mouse, unfortunately. Let's hit escape, and then I should be able to. All right. I'm just gonna close like the browser right now, in case that makes any difference. But I am screen recording, like I said. But are there other? I don't think. Oh, there are more graphics options. I forgot that all these are in here. So I might fiddle with these just to get the frame rate up. For the moment, let's back out of here. Let's try tweaking some of these. Foliage, anti-aliasing. We could probably put that down. Try low, shadows, epic, we probably don't need that. Textures, I don't know. Let's try post-processing, I wonder. Unreal's scalability reference for more. So, okay. In my opinion, you should just explain what that is in the game here, rather than like suggesting the player go look up something on Google, you know? Yeah, because I don't know what that means. I could guess, but I don't have any confidence in any of those guesses, so I don't know what that actually results in. High or epic, okay. View distance resolution is at full. We can actually turn down the bloom, which is nice because some games make this annoying. Let's try that. I have confidence that this will help. Oh, let's back out of here. Alright, smoother. I think it's still chugging a bit. We've got some lens flares that we didn't have before. That's cool looking, although a little bit much, I would say. Wow, stuff is really glowing back there. Yeah, I mean... it seems like a lot, so is that if I just go in and... I mean, that's like a lot. You can actually turn it up higher, that's fun. I mean, honestly, something like this seems more reasonable to me. That seems like such a low number compared to what it was actually set to originally. So we're not getting the super lens flares, but I don't know. So yeah, it's still not hitting the magic 60 FPS number here, so I guess we'll fiddle with this a bit more. I hope I get to actually have time to play this enough. It's a bit unfortunate to mess around with the settings too much here. Effects are epic. I don't... Okay, another thing... I don't know what that is. Keep saying to see Unreal scalability reference, which is a little weird, but I don't really want to turn the view distance down. I don't know that this matters that much necessarily. Okay, we got 2D, so apparently this affects this. It occurs to me that you can kind of miss that this changes if the scroll is not set in just the right spot like this. So that might be something you might want to, I don't know, just shift these around or something. You could probably fit a lot more of this on one screen rather than forcing the player to use the scroll, by the way. You know, there's so many other games that have like settings menus that aren't so chunky as this. You know, you can fit a lot more of this into smaller spaces and it'll still work fine, so it might be worth doing that because the scrolling can be a little annoying in here. But yeah, so we've got 2D dynamic volume. It looks like we can set it back to volumetric. Even though this is set to low, I don't really... I don't know, but yeah, this might be affecting the performance as well. Let's just see, did I... Yeah, escape saves. It's still a little choppy. Oh, that was not the right... It's not the right thing to hit. Let's just go ahead and... We have to like actually play the game. I mean, eye candy is nice, but that's... Oh, I gotta switch into the video settings again. No clouds. Static clouds. Let's try static clouds. I don't want to turn that down, honestly, but I can put everything else low. Even textures, I don't think that's gonna matter. I expect the volumetric clouds might make a big difference here. Alright, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, so for all I know, it could be like the volumetric clouds more than anything that's making stuff chug, but you know, this is not like a super high-end PC, it's pretty mid-range in this age, so nothing wrong with having juicy graphics stuff if it's toggleable. Yeah, so this, I mean, just very brief impression, this feels pretty good. I think whatever this is, the sliding thing wasn't added in the tutorial, but that kind of makes sense because I think it's, you know, work in progress kind of stuff. What? So I don't remember. We got boost is here, but we did have what was it called? Some kind of a other slidey effect thing. Or we just kind of turn the traction off. I don't remember what we were calling that. A terrible memory. This is interesting, I guess. What's the... Oh, click the thing. Okay. Right, so this is, yeah, as far as the R3, I guess we're calling it, centering your orientation again, this is something I said before, so I'm just repeating myself, but I really think that with the gameplay that you have, it would be more useful if that reset your roll to match the horizon and didn't reset your pitch, because I think there's a lot of cases where you're going to be pitched up or down, kind of necessarily, but the roll that you're at any point in time is sort of arbitrary. It's more of just like making you comfortable with the way you're finessing the stick kind of thing. Like you can maneuver the same regardless of how you're rolled. So I don't think you really want to be resetting the pitch. I think the only thing you want to reset is the roll. I think that would make it a lot more useful, because if you're in these situations where you're like, your roll is kind of out of whack and you feel kind of uncomfortable, but you're trying to go, you're trying to go an up or down situation through the rings or something, and you hit that button, it's going to make you like fly off into the completely wrong direction instead of just fixing your roll. All right. Yeah. So I think. Oh, okay. I think we still have this zero traction thing on the B button on the Xbox controller. I think that's still doing that. Yeah, that feels cool. I like the feeling of that a lot. It's fun to play with. You can do fun tricks and stuff, which I was trying to do before. So I guess we have infinite boost in this mode. Yeah, you can do like stuff like this. It's fun. Yeah, it definitely feels like there's quite a bit of traction compared to previous versions and such. So, it's fun. All right. Yeah, it feels pretty cool. So let's go ahead and actually try to race a little bit. This delay here, I feel like I've always felt. Oh, that was actually quit the game. I felt like it's just been a little bit longer than it needed to be. I think it's a good thing to be there, and it's kind of ironic because it's sort of supposed to prevent what I just did. Except I'm just like I'm talking. I'm too distracted. But the thing is, the player has to deal with that delay every single time. So once they get like really used to the game and the UI and everything, they're gonna want to kind of just punch in this quit, go into the menu and select quit or whatever, really quickly. So yeah, actually, in my opinion, I would actually say I don't think you need that delay. I think what you just need is to have the confirmation dialogue that says, "Are you sure?" and then the yes no. There are other things that forcing the delay is really good for in game design, like making sure somebody doesn't skip something really important. But in this case, I think it's more of just the player getting used to the UI and stuff, and once they know it, they don't want to like wait through that. So little details, but okay. So yeah, I think the controls are feeling pretty good as far as just flying around randomly. Free play. It does occur to me that you don't get any of the rings in the free play. I don't know if that's a thing. There's like a practice mode, isn't there? Well, maybe there isn't. I think there used to be like a practice mode. Maybe you still want to have that, so you could. It would be sort of like, or maybe it's in here still. Casual. No, I mean. Oh, that's interesting. It visualizes the ring diameter. I see. Okay. But it still changes the course layout though, doesn't it? So what's on the screen right now seems to suggest to the player that this setting specifically just changes the ring sizes. So I wouldn't expect, if I had never played this before, I wouldn't expect that this would actually change the layout of the rings. Just the size. I'm not sure. I gotta actually just test that out to know, I guess. But okay. Go select mode. I think this should. Maybe it should default to no ghost. I don't know. Not a big deal. Let's actually play. We got some voiceover here. That's interesting. So the boost, I don't see anything depleting when I use the boost here. Or is that only when you crash? Okay, so I think if anyone was watching this, I don't know if I mentioned at the start, but the developer did do something with I guess if you crash, you kind of can't use the boost anymore, something like that. Or not permanently, but just for a little while. The idea was to prevent the player from overusing the boost kind of thing. Whoop. I don't remember what is that the button for resetting yourself. So I think it's the left bumper. It's a little circle thing. Oh, it just ends. Little circle things are, I think, a little bit useful feeling right now. I don't know if I think I remember before thinking that they didn't actually do much to help. But I don't know, something about tweaking the controls might have helped or something. But yeah, so maybe. All right. So as soon as the level ends, I really want to see a button pop up that just says like, you know, like the restart or change level things. So it's a little weird because first of all, you show this other screen that doesn't have any inputs on it. And then you have to like press a button and then it gets rid of that screen and then you're given these input options. So I think for one thing, you should have the input options on the same screen as the results or whatever, so that you can even just being able to like switch between selected items like this. I want to be able to do that while still looking at the results, you know, not have that disappear. The other thing is I don't think you want to have all of these options because it's like too much to look at all at once, you know. I think you just want restart, change level, and like back or main menu or whatever. Maybe this one. Actually, I mean, to be honest, you should probably have a like chariot selection before you start the race, like every racing game does. I think that'd be a good idea, but that's another thing. But yeah, just little details. I don't want to exit the game. I want main menu. Oh, this one actually doesn't have a delay on it. Interesting. I wonder if that was. Okay, I see. Yeah, I think it used to have a delay on like the main menu one too, which is kind of why I gave that bit of a little spiel about getting rid of the delay there. I guess it kind of makes sense if it's only on the quick game one. Yeah, maybe that's okay. What was I gonna do? I guess I kind of wanted to figure out if this was a thing. Oh yeah, that just changes the. I don't really remember what the previous layout was. Is this different? I think it's different, right? I haven't really tweaked the turning settings appreciably. I don't know if I need to at the moment, but. Oof. It's definitely, yeah, it's a little too easy to turn really hard. I think I need to set that. This says controller settings. Okay. I set that to this. If I set it really low. What? Oh. Excuse me. If I crank it up, let's see what that does. Yeah, it seems to turn harder easier. I think that's. How low do I want this to be? I don't know. A little higher. It is a little weird because you get this effect where it's turning slow, and then kind of all at once it really picks up speed because it's exponential, obviously. So you gotta look for some kind of a sweet spot there. I don't know. Feels a little weird, but maybe you want that a little lower. Sorry for the notification sound there. Just turn the sound off here. Oh, we're almost out of time here. I might have to. I mean, I can play for a little bit longer, but if necessary, I'll just make like another video if I have more time in the future and do a little bit more playing. I'm sorry, my throat has a nasty little tickle in there. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm not looking at the fancy weather effects at the max settings and stuff because I want it to run nicely. But let's see. I think it's this button. Oh, I was pretty sure that the left bumper was to reset your position, and it's not actually doing anything. Wait, no, that's the strafing. That's strafing. So I've never actually used this. Also, I apparently go super slow if I try to accelerate while strafing. It like doesn't build up any speed. Whoop. Oh, it makes you slow down a lot. Like I'm just holding the throttle down and the right trigger. You start strafing and you basically, especially once you change direction, it basically makes you go to complete stop. Yeah, you probably want to tweak that to actually make that usable for the sake of racing. Yeah, that basically just makes you stop instantly. That's a bit unfortunate. So yeah, that should probably get some tweaking. I actually just kind of found my way back to this ring inadvertently here. Whoa, all right. Well, that was not the trajectory I wanted. I kind of thought I was on the right trajectory until like the last moment, and then I was like, oh, well, I'm not quite lined up right there. Oh gosh. All right, so it takes a little getting used to just the how much sliding there is or isn't. It's definitely going to take a little bit of time to get the handle on the controls and stuff again. What is the button for resetting yourself? Well, interesting. I think I'm really thinking right now. I know it's like I've barely played, but I think there's significantly more traction than there was before, which is generally good. But I still, once in a while, I kind of want less traction, but not necessarily zero, which is a little weird. I'm not sure how much that can be gotten used to. I mean, it's not, I shouldn't say it's weird, but basically this is kind of something I said before, but I think it's a good idea to have just a button that's just kind of like a lower traction button. So we have kind of the zero traction button, which I think is a lot of fun in certain situations, but I'm not sure the way that at least the way you have your current races, I'm not sure it's that useful to have the zero traction button because it just sends you in a straight line, right? But you can kind of do this, I guess. That sort of works. Yeah, I mean, there's also the fact that I suggested actually changing the format of the racetracks and stuff, having bigger goals to go through instead of just following like a long line of hoops. You could have like just big gates that you fly through, and maybe less of them, and you could do things like maybe you just have to do like a hard turn around a pillar or whatever. It might, if you did go down that route, it might change the way you might want to approach the controls a little bit. But my immediate thought is that yeah, I don't like that. The immediate thought is that maybe instead of having like this thing, which is this sort of whatever we're calling this, some kind of a drift, I guess, which maybe is useful. I'm sure it can have use, but I think I'd rather just have like a lower traction button. that would just allow me to do a little bit of a slidiness. Because in general, yeah, I'm liking the traction, but there are those moments where it seems like it'd be nice to not have it as grippy. So I'm just gonna run to the ground here. I don't know what's going on with the boosting stuff. Oh, so the bottom left, I guess that's sort of a shield. So that's affecting if you blow up or not. It recharges really fast, interestingly enough. Okay, well that's not really what I expected to occur when I ran into the ground. Alright, so that threw me off at a really weird angle. I haven't actually looked at the collisions and stuff since I started playing, so maybe not what I expect from the collisions exactly. Interesting. It makes me literally do a 360, and then I kind of, in this case, I didn't go all the way around, but a lot of times it's just it's basically a 360 or something close to it. Which is, I mean, I can see it. It almost feels like the game is trying to throw you in a direction that's a little closer to back on course to where you were going, but as a result, it's just doing these like wacky, like camera spinning effects that I think feels kind of unnecessary. I think you should just kind of not move your camera as much when you bump into something, which is, I guess, harder to describe in like a practical or physical way that you can actually program, but I think that could be improved. Let's just say that for now. Let's just be something kind of nicer. I do think there should be penalty, you know, like speed penalty, or like you have this kind of shield effect that I think I don't entirely. It's a little weird the way it works right now. I can make sense of it, but it I don't know. I think it would make sense if it didn't like recharge so fast, and if it didn't have this kind of variable damage amount as much as it does. Maybe have like a really consistent amount of bump damage that you take or something. So right now it seems like it's hard for the player to wrap their head around that, or just like even pay any attention to that at all. I guess ideally you'd want it to just be predictable. Like if what's going to happen if you run into something, whereas right now maybe it's not that predictable for the player. I don't know. Yeah, but just fine details of stuff. So as far as whatever is supposed to prevent the player from boosting, I don't see that actually happening, so maybe that just isn't working at the moment. I will say, I think the idea of punishing the player by taking away the boost temporarily after they crash is probably not really what you want. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like I didn't get the chance to try it out. I don't think it's working for some reason, but I think a more reasonable way about it would just be to actually give the player like a limited amount of boost, so that they can't just use it infinitely, if you don't want them to, if that's what your goal is, but not take it away if they crash. I don't see the reason for taking it away when they crash, because it's kind of funny logic in my opinion, because like, yeah, they might have crashed because they were boosting too much, but the simple fact is if there's a limited amount of boost, they can only boost so much anyways, so that's already limiting. So adding this additional limitation for like making a mistake, it doesn't really seem like it's serving the goal you're looking for. So yeah, I think there's ways to do that pretty simply. Just have like a boost meter or whatever that you might want it to recharge when you do something, like maybe flying through the rings, like you mentioned, is how you want it to recharge or whatever. Maybe that's fine, but I don't think crashing should affect it, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and I don't know. Pleading easy casual. It's really weird to call like the fourth or the third out of 4 difficulty settings casual. It seems strange in my opinion, but let's go ahead with easy. It looks like there's only one of these.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, still having the issues with visibility. I mean, partially this is my monitor, because my monitor is not very good at showing like light on light colors, like stuff that's near white. There's low contrast when it's stuff that's near white, which is like this whole level. So this looks really a little hard to see everything for the most part. So far I'm kind of figuring it out, but definitely could be a little better there. Alright, needed to brake a little harder there, but we didn't crash or anything, so far so good. Where do we go from here? That one? Yeah, okay, a little hard to see this flashing, but again, it's just this level, really. From here, we go here. Oh, alright, I didn't quite get control of that the way I wanted it to. Wait. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I was boosting or not there for a moment, so I kind of felt like maybe the boost wasn't working. Like, maybe I crashed and it tried to switch off, but I think it might have just been I don't know if I just didn't hear the audio or didn't see the effect of it or something. It might have just been my mistake there. That is not the right way, okay. Alright. I was looking for the circles. The circles are blending into this mountain, unfortunately. I think the rocks, dark colored rocks. I don't know if you like manually set what color the circles are, because this is like a lighter level, so you made them dark. But unfortunately, like, there's parts of the level that are also dark. Wow, I thought I was going through wherever that was very disorienting. So yeah, I don't think when you bump into something you want the camera to just like spin. I don't think that's what you want. I think you want it to not spin. Like spin as little as possible, honestly. Alright, let's try not that. Well, let's do this one more time, okay. I'll try boosting a lot. Whoa, okay. Okay, I don't know the layout by heart here, so that would help. That's just the nature of any racing game, though. You learn the level over time. The track, I should say. Whoa, where? Okay. It's hard to do that turn, that little maneuver there. Without like slowing down a lot. Did I go through them all? I kind of want to do that part again. By the way, what the heck is that button to reset your position? Which... That's what it is, it's the back button. Okay, you don't usually use the back button for like any video game, so that's why it was so hard for me to find that. Okay. Oh. Alright, lots of boosting. That's fun. Yo, okay, we made it through. Just slammed the brakes there, but that's okay. I think, okay, the music is pretty loud. I don't know if you tweak the volume levels, but I feel like I'm missing a little bit more of the sound effects because of the music being so loud. I'm actually going to see if I can rocket volume, master volume, music volume. Maybe just... Oh, that doesn't update instantly. Okay, it'd be nice if that updated instantly. It's a lot harder to set the settings without being able to hear it. Excuse me, while you're changing it. But so it occurs to me that you have like different sound effects depending on if you go through the ring fast or slow. Why didn't this? Is it because I completed the race already? Did I? Okay, it's a little silly, but
3, 2,
you have different sound effects depending on if you go through the ring slowly or quickly, right? I think the one when you're going fast is like a lot louder, so the quiet one gets a little bit lost. It's easy to not hear it. So I don't think it's quite what you want. I mean, I like the fact that it sounds different, but I think you want to kind of equalize the levels a little bit there, so that you get the feedback even if you go through something slower, because I think it's pretty important feedback. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty doable going fast with the boost and everything. The added traction, everything adds a lot. Which ring do I go through here? I feel like I went through a lot of rings, but it didn't like do what I thought it was going to do there in terms of like actually triggering them. Oh, I was aimed for the wrong ring. Is the boost weaker than it was before? And it's not like you're not still going fast, it still feels fast, but I wonder if it actually... It's just a lot of time when I'm like holding it down a lot and I don't feel like I'm going super fast. Where do I go from here? It takes a little bit to accelerate. Alright. I want to do some kind of like insane turn thing in there, but I don't know what buttons to press to make that happen. Apart from just holding the brake button. It's kind of unfortunate, but... Alright, I guess we'll try a different one.
3,
Nope.
2,
Not that. Where's... Yeah, see, I kind of hate the fact that there's just so many options here, because my brain doesn't... Like, I don't want to spend the time to sit here and interpret this menu. I want to kind of stay... Especially because the... Playing video games like this, it kind of puts your brain in a state where you're wanting to make really fast decisions. Sort of like this ADHD sort of thing, where you don't want to like slow down, right? So being able to just like quickly go through menus and stuff is kind of important. So that's kind of why it's frustrating to me to get. Just want to do something simple, but I have to like sort through this really long menu to see what I want to do next. Change menu. We want to... Okay, yeah, so practice mode would be nice. So just have the rings in, but be able to just go around as many times as you want or whatever. It doesn't look like that's in the game currently. Do I want to do free play? Free play is neat, but again, it doesn't have the rings. So it's more like, I don't know, you could make little trick maneuvers and stuff, which is fun. I don't think I want to do anything daunting. It's really silly to call this casual, like I said before, but...
3, 2, 1.
Just gonna hold the boost for now. I think this used to be
3, 2, 1.
kind of possible to do while just boosting constantly. I'm not sure. It feels a lot faster now. Makes me think maybe you turn the boost up. I don't even know. Maybe I got that completely wrong. It was certainly easy to do without the boost, right? Everything's just sort of these gradual turns, but maybe it wasn't easy to do with the boost. My memory is really not very trustworthy. Yeah, I can still boost as much as I want. I'm not sure if... I think the idea with the boost limitation thing that the developer had mentioned was that like it only limits you if you crash. Otherwise you can use it as much as you want. I don't remember if that's the case or not, but yeah, I think if you don't want the player to use it too much, then you should just add like a limited use amount of it, so they can't just spam it as much as they want to. But on the other hand, it might be nice to be able to have infinite boost. Sometimes I kind of like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not like really tryharding it. Obviously, I'm not very good at this without like a lot more practice. But I'm just kind of doing this casually. I don't necessarily think I'm getting a lot more out of actually just racing in terms of like being able to give feedback and stuff. And I do have to wrap this video up pretty soon, but I don't know what there was. I don't want to exit the game. Okay, I selected the wrong option. That was very goofy of me. When I read quit, it makes me think quit the current race. You know, you should probably just put the exit game not in that menu. I mean, I already said I don't like having so many options in the menu. You can just put it on the main menu screen or whatever. So just quit, and then it just instantly opens up the main menu or whatever, and then you can just have like exit game in there or something. It's actually, the game is currently relaunching. Sorry for the goofing. Here we go. All right, back again. OBS actually crashed. I don't know what exactly happened there. Some kind of a glitch with OBS. I didn't quite understand what was happening there, but we got it set up again. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up the video here. But I think I wanted to just real quick try the free play thing, but I think the moon one is probably the funnest for free play because there's some like interesting obstacles, but the canyons are kind of neat too, I guess. So there's some kind of a deal where it resets you. Ooh. What is this? Okay, interesting. Are these like predefined points where it respawns you? That did not blow me up. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so it seems to be associated with these structures placed around, I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Definitely seems better than just like always returning to the like origin point anyways. Yeah, so I guess final thoughts for the sake of this video. I mean, maybe I can play with the game a little bit more at some point. Wow, that is unexpected but interesting. I think the added traction is nice. I do think that for the game to really kind of come into its own, you're gonna really need to nail some kind of a strafing mechanic here, and this has kind of always been the issue, I guess, is how to handle strafing and turning. And so right now we have quite a bit of traction, which allows you to do a lot of things, and it feels a lot more accessible just in general. It's not easy, but it feels like I can just kind of do things without having to like practice forever just to make like some kind of a turn or to, you know, fit through all these little tiny rings. It definitely feels like I can do those things a lot more successfully, which is great. It just kind of feels better. particularly for a player that doesn't have a ton of experience already. So I think that's definitely what you want. But in order for it to really feel like like the game has the depth and the excitement and the finesse of the control that you want, I think you need to nail some kind of a secondary steering option. So as of right now, we have whatever this thing we're calling, like strafing or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I can get that you can sort of go around a corner a little bit, assuming you press the right direction, which I didn't do that just then. It's a little weird. My brain has had trouble with figuring out which direction to press while doing this. It definitely seems like something that would, if you kept this kind of control, it would probably be nice to have an invert option just to invert the left and right on this, because my brain seems to want to do it the other way. But I think if nothing else, I like the stuff that we've been fiddling with just reducing the traction. So I would suggest maybe just replacing this thing entirely, temporarily at least, just for testing or whatever, with kind of a low, like half 50% traction or something mode. So if I press this button, then I can get like lower traction. I said before, I like the zero traction button, but it's not as frequently usable, I think, with the current style of races and stuff. It's fun to do in like free play because you can do this kind of stuff, which is cool. That was funny. I was gonna go under, but then I was like, had that little burst of ambition, like maybe I can make it through the little hole. Almost did, but yeah, you have to be careful with these holes like these, because there's like length to it. You can really only successfully do this if you approach it at a certain angle. Like it limits the angles quite considerably because of, like, if that didn't have the length to it, if it was just like a really thin hole, you can go through that in a lot of different angles. But as it is, yeah. But these rings, it would be great to have the little ones that show you the trajectory of the craft. Probably be nice to have them kind of dynamically adjust their color based on like what they're rendered against or something. Might look a little funny, I'm not sure, but at least, getting some kind of consistent contrast out of them would be nicer than not being able to see them sometimes if you're relying on them a lot. Like against the sky right now, I can't really see that properly, like almost not at all. Yeah, so I think every patch has been kind of moving in the right direction here. I just think we still you'd do best to figure out the strafing, to just nail that, and then maybe I've been saying I think the way that the levels are being formatted with the very thin rings and such, or what am I saying? Very narrow rings. I think it would be nice to have more wide open things. Nothing else to experiment with. Apart from that, I think a lot of this is being, polished up quite nicely. So those would be the big things I would suggest checking out. And yeah, just free flight is fun. So like, if you have something that just feels good and is fun to do in your game, but it's not necessarily like the actual goal of the game, you should probably kind of try to make it like fit that into the actual goal of the game somehow, So when I'm not just doing these long ropes of rings that I'm flying through, and I just kind of do this sort of free flight where you can just kind of weave in between the obstacles and stuff, this is, like, in my opinion, more entertaining than the actual racing. So that to me says, that's a pretty strong indicator that maybe you should like adjust the way that you're actually constructing the actual game itself. And I think that's probably just going to come down to kind of what I was saying before about is instead of having long strings of rings, just have these big open gates that you can fly through, and you can put all this junk in between two giant gates, and it would just be really fun to just weave through stuff instead of just worrying about like trying to do like this really kind of gradual turns all the time. I don't enjoy that as much, but this is so much more organic and kind of exciting. Just see how fast you can like fly past these things and narrowly miss stuff. It feels really good. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the future of the game. It's cool. I mean, I just when I just do this, to be completely honest with you, in the free flight mode, this is kind of what makes me want to play the game more. Is when I just fly around and just kind of feel how good it generally feels to maneuver the craft and do this kind of stuff. No, wasn't quite gonna work. So I hope this was useful for you. It's hard to stop just flying through this stuff, but I'm just gonna keep repeating myself if I keep this video running. So I'm gonna actually have to like edit those two chunks of video together because of OBS crashing on me. It shouldn't take too long, but I'll get this to you, and hopefully it's helpful. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I might this is grabbing my mouse again, so this is annoying. So like when I try to alt tab, the game is still controlling the mouse, so I can't use it in Windows. So if there's some way you could fix that, that would be nice. But I know I can hit like escape key and then it releases the mouse, and then I can do whatever I need to. But yeah, I might fiddle with the game more just for fun. But for now, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.